Hello and welcome to yet another guitar channel. I'm Anjay and today we're going to be looking at the best fuzz you've never heard of, the King Fuzz from Bigfoot Engineering. So if you've been following the channel at all, you'll know I have a love-hate relationship with fuzz. I'm not a big fan of fuzz, but I've been trying to find one that I liked. And I'd settled on a Jimi Hendrix edition Fuzz Face Mini that was really superb. Did the cleanup I wanted, sounded great. And then I used it live and I had an EQ pedal after it, but it still didn't sit in the mix right. And then I was also using a wireless setup and I'd forgotten that an old school fuzz face needs the impedance of the guitar, and therefore I couldn't control the volume from my guitar and I couldn't control whether it cleaned up or not. So it just didn't work for me at all. And I started looking at pedals that would sit better in that setup and came across Bigfoot Engineering. Now, I know of Bigfoot Engineering because I've got their Octave Up Octopus. So I know that they're a good brand, and I thought I'd look into it a little bit and actually contacted Reese from Bigfoot and said, look, here's what I want to do. Would the King Fuzz work for me? And he said, yeah, absolutely. We can build you a version with a buffer in it, and that will sit anywhere in the signal chain, sit after a wireless setup, and it will work just like a fuzz face does. You'll be able to clean up with the guitar, and you'll get all kinds of goodness out of it. So yeah, I bit the bullet, sumped up, and I bought this version. My daughter chose the colour because she thought it looked like the Lion King. Do you know what? I am so glad I did. Now, I've recorded this video once already, and I made a mistake by deleting it, but I'm quite glad of that as well, because it meant that I could take this and rehearse with it. And not only was I blown away by the sound, I was blown away by the fact that it sat in the mix properly. So without having to EQ it, and there's no tone control in here, didn't need the EQ pedal after it, it sat in the mix. I stood out when I needed to, I could sit back when I needed to using the tone control on the guitar, and the EQ was perfect without having to play around with it. So I was absolutely blown away just by that on its own, let alone the fact that it worked with wireless and could be after any other effects. But rather than just talking about it, let's play it. So we have two controls, gain and volume. I'm going to turn the gain all the way off. The volume is it's hardly on. It's a loud pedal. So this is my clean tone. I'm on the bridge pickup, but I'll just move around the pickups. So even on zero gain, there is gain. So it's kind of overdrivey with a little bit of fuzz mixed in. As I wind the gain up, I'll probably need to adjust the volume slightly. Got some sustain and it's got some gain. The sweep is actually nice and linear, unlike a lot of pedals where all the gain is at one end. It dials in the gain neatly as you go along. The magic position 4. Now, of course, there are two ways people use fuzz. One, maxed out. There are two main ways. The other is to get that glassy clean tone that we all hear about and want to get from a fuzz face. Now, the Hendrix fuzz station I was using did this perfectly, and I was a bit nervous about this because not all fuzzes do it properly. They often leave like artifacts of kind of what sounds like ripped speaker in the background. But this does it really well. So the way that I set this up, it's maybe a bit of a tip for setting up fuzz if you want to do the cleanup. I roll my guitar back to about halfway, and then I roll the gain off on here until I get to about the right state. So on the guitar volume, I'm on 3 or 4, well no, 4 or 5 there. I go into that neck position, neck and middle. I'll probably put a bit more gain on that actually. So I can go from clean to nice gain just off the volume control. And using the tone control, I can back off some of the high end when I'm on the bridge as well. So again, loads of gain there. And even if I max the gain out, and just turn that down slightly. If I'm willing to go down to like volume 1 on the guitar, I can kind of clean it up. So again, get to the kind of volume you want this to be at to get clean, and then dial this into around about the right value, which is just past midday for me. Of course, I'm going into a completely clean amp, which is what I tend to do. But if you've got a bit of hair on the amp, again, you can adjust this to just fit in neatly with it. But like I said, on its own, it may sound a little bit too midsy and high-endsy. As soon as you put it into a mix, it just, like I said, when you roll off the volume, dissolves in nicely. When you ramp up the volume, it stands out beautifully. And it just does everything that a fuzz should do, or a fuzz face style pedal should do. It gives you all the grunt and the chewiness and all that kind of stuff. If you hammer it with a really high output guitar and you put it onto full gain, you'll get some of that spluttery kind of almost gated sound to it as well. But with just a single coil in that magic 4th position, and I kid you not, when I did the rehearsals, I had that on the entire time, and I just rode the guitar volume. I didn't, other than about 3 songs, I didn't need to do anything other than ride the volume on the guitar throughout the session, because I was able to go from clean to distorted to lead just by going from like 4 to 7 to 10. And it gave me all of the variation I needed to play everything from Fleetwood Mac to Bowling for Soup within the session. So there you go. This is the King Fuzz from Bigfoot Engineering. I said it there, you know, the best fuzz you've never heard of, but now you've heard of it. So hopefully it's the best fuzz you're going to go and own, because I think it's fantastic. At £160, it is a handmade boutique pedal in the UK. Pretty hard to beat what I'm getting from this, to be honest. Best pedal investment I've made since I bought the GX100 from Boss. Let me know what you think. Any fuzzes you think I should be trying that I haven't gone at yet? Have you tried the Bigfoot Engineering pedals? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon.